Hey there, welcome back to Creepy Encounters. In today's video, run-in with a cult. Possible sex traffickers in my area. Whenever I have been around people in my work industry, we always hear of the horror stories of crazy cults, people getting paid for weird requests and such, but I've never thought with my luck I'd have to worry about being in one of these stories. Man, was I wrong. This is probably going to be a mini-series since it's a bit long. For some background, I am a very introverted person. I don't go out much if it's outside of my small group of friends. I started doing OnlyFans around this time where it was very popular in quarantine. I had already been on FetLife, which is a fetish-based network like Facebook but for the kink community, so I was thinking doing OnlyFans wouldn't be too hard considering I was already involved in the kink community because of my work at the adult store and my time on FetLife. Usually with friend requests I don't normally accept them if I don't know the person in real life due to past events of issues online. My red flag radar was fairly used to sensing something was off if I was in danger, however this time it was a silent danger I wasn't prepared for. I had begun posting regular content on my account and was told to make a Twitter for a following fan base for my work, which made sense at the time. I was fairly new to the idea of it. I was logged into my Fet to check my messages for the day and a new friend request popped up with a message. "Thank you. Insert my name on foot, for taking the time to read my message. I'm Wolfie. I am excited to help you with your OnlyFans because I see you have potential and I can help. Please feel free to message if interested in working together. Wolfie." I wasn't sure why the message came off so proper with the tagline of something to the effect of "join us." It's been a few months so my memory is a bit fuzzy to all the exact message details because I mainly wanted to block out as much as I could. I started looking at the profile to see if I would find any reasons not to add them to my account because I was fairly new to having people I didn't know as friends. I saw the packs which had several women in all different age groups and that we all had an OnlyFans and modeling in common, which wasn't something that was alarming to me. I added him back and shortly that began the introduction into the cult. I slowly started getting more messages in my inbox about how they could help me because I was now one of the pack. I didn't think it meant anything more than being friendly. Something in the back of my mind was telling me to be careful, but stupid is as stupid does, and I paid it no mind. I wish I had now in retrospect. When I was at work, Wolfie would blow up my inbox with messages saying he added me to a group on Twitter that was special because it had all of our pages in it, and we had to do a chain of if one girl posted about her OnlyFans we had to share it and keep the pack happy, which seemed harmless. That became an every hour a new post was made and we had to share and do the same in return for hours. I thought this was normal for Twitter because I hardly ever use it. I was put in two chats, the main chat and the one with just Wolfie and his wife because she wanted to see if I was a good match for their pack. He would often send me photos of them in bed and say things like, "One day you'll be in the middle of us where you belong." Mind you, I am in a relationship with my partner of 8 years at this point, so I wasn't sure if he was just kidding or not. He would send me messages telling me how to post my pages, my photos, and anytime I had updated my FetLife with new modeling photos he was the first to comment, "This is my cub, appreciate her," or "I'll end you," things of that nature. I get the whole being an alpha, but it was just getting creepy to me that just seconds after my post went live it was already getting attention. To my knowledge there isn't a way to get notifications of someone's posts on that specific site like Twitter unless he had my page open, waiting. I started to feel more strange vibes when he started sending me messages via his wife and her telling me someday we were all going to get a place in the middle of nowhere. No one would find us and we'd all do sex work together and live together in this wolf alpha-based lifestyle. Which sounds like a cult now that I'm actually writing this. There were 4 other girls that were all doing the same thing, listening and doing everything their alpha said. A few days went by and Wolfie started really making me feel incredibly uncomfortable with anything that this was. He did a posted writing of his own on his page and made sure to tell me in the group that I was his favorite new little cub and this was for my own good. The writing was about how he loved me and told me to be in his outfit and wait in my room for him. He snuck into my apartment and attacked my partner, beat him close to death and brought him up to my room. He wrote I had to choose who I loved more. He wrote I chose him over my partner, and that he then dominated me and killed my partner and I was stolen away to live with him and his pack forever. My stomach had dropped out of my body as I reread the story he had created, the details of my apartment he couldn't possibly know, the things about my home nobody knew unless they were in my home scared me. I was on edge for days because I didn't have a clue how he knew these details. My skin was crawling. I told him I didn't know how I felt about the story he fantasized about me in his world. I knew this was the reason I had to run. I had to take a break to finish the end of this story because of how creepy it is for me to have to write and relive because it's terrifying. Wolfie kept showing the rest of his pack the story and had me under his list of relationships as his submissive and in a poly relationship with him and his wife. My skin for days was crawling with the fear of me not knowing how he knew all the things he knew. I never posted about my home. He saw a post of me in a bad mood from a disagreement, but that wasn't cause for him to write a fantasized life of murder and rape and such, was it? The rest of that week I wore oversized clothes and cried on and off because I was terrified to be alone in my apartment. I showed my partner and friend and they both agreed that this was not something I would be able to handle on my own. I took myself out of the groups on Twitter for a start and tried not to draw attention to Wolfie when the girls started messaging me out of the blue saying they didn't understand why I wanted to be brainwashed by my partner and they loved me and everything would be fine if I went with them. I deleted my Twitter and also my OnlyFans because I didn't know what they could find me on. I blocked them all on my new accounts, and I also took down my profile on FetLife and made a new one with a completely different name and credentials so they couldn't find me. I even changed my number because Wolfie found out what it was to try and get me to talk to him and explain why I was pulling away. I made new accounts and made sure everyone was aware that I needed to know about this potential stalker so I could maintain my sanity. I thought it was over when a week had passed and I didn't see any new messages on my new profile on FetLife or my messages. Man, was I wrong. My best friend had checked her messages on Instagram where of course, he found me via her. He asked if she knew where I was and if I was okay because I disappeared out of nowhere. I thought I had escaped the nightmare. I went to my Instagram I had made and had a few different messages from him about him coming to get me to rescue me and save me. I was terrified how far this guy would go for me. Why couldn't he just leave me alone? I blocked him again and countless times of changing my names and such. I had finally reached a point of just getting into the habit of bringing my knife to work in my boots and locking my deadbolt when I was alone because I didn't want to be afraid anymore. This was almost a month of me being terrified out of my mind. I made one last post on my FetLife about him so all my following could see I was in real danger, and I was done being afraid and openly said if they were wanting to come for me I'd be ready with law enforcement and such. Thankfully after that post was made public I went to check his profile to see if it was still up and it was gone. It's been a few months since this has happened and thank God I haven't had any weird messages, or my friends getting anything weird from this whole thing. I wish I would have listened to my intuition about this in the first place. Maybe then it could have been avoided. Thankfully I am safe from this insane wolfpack cult. Technically this is my mother's story, not mine. This happened a few months ago. My mother was putting my siblings and I on the bus for school in the morning. We left for school at 6:45 to 7 o'clock. I say left because my school closed due to COVID, when she saw headlights behind the bus. I had noticed this myself, but didn't think much of it because it had happened before with other vehicles. Anyways, my siblings and I get on the bus when my mother sees that it's a white van with no windows, typical creeper van, and starts to head back up the driveway. She stopped halfway and thought, that was really weird. Keep in mind I live in the country with a really long driveway, so she had brought us down in the car. So she turned around and started following the van, which then immediately sped up as if it didn't want her to get the license plate, and then zipped into one of my neighbor's driveway, which like mine is long and covered by trees. My mother parks the car beside the end of the driveway to see if the van will come out, and eventually some workers pull up. My neighbor owns a company, I'm not sure what kind though. There's a man in the driver's seat and a man in shotgun, and they ask her what she's doing. She asked them if a white van would have any business going back there, and they replied no. So she explains what happened and that one of her friends from work told her that sex traffickers are moving to smaller towns, and then asked if she sounds crazy. The men told her not at all, and that one of them has kids and the other has a little boy. The men head back there to find it, and then my mother leaves. She doesn't know why she had, and wonders if she should have stayed. She told us what happened after school, which then made me paranoid whenever I saw other vehicles on the bus ride, especially since we go on back roads. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe for more real-life creepy encounters around the world. See you in the next video. Bye.